Welcome to sequel number 20 of the Church of Uganda at 150 years, a celebration of our history. With Christopher Amos Chikomeko Ntambi, the producer of these audio videos. I welcome you to today's sequel, but I've been looking at the subscribers. Those who have done so, I'm grateful. But the number has not yet made me happy. So please, as you enjoy, subscribe. Now, today's sequel, we are looking at a comfortable Mwanga back on his throne. But now they have to share the spoils of the war. It therefore took some time before they could organize a new government. But as far as their king is concerned, he's back on the throne. And now they have to negotiate the terms of the peace that will now be enjoyed by everybody. The Roman Catholic Christian faction demanded to move from Nalukolongo, and they demanded the best of them all, Mutesa's palace at Rubaga. Mwanga accepted. After all, him as Kabaka could not have a same palace with his father. Or as I told you earlier, it was not cultural for a Kabaka to inherit his father's palace. As a matter of time, I can take this opportunity to remind many who are angry that our current Kabaka does not reside in Mengo Palace. I think now you know the reason. Yeah? So, the Protestants or the Anglican Christians demanded also to move away from Natete, which had been burnt down. Yeah, Kalema had burnt Natete down, was no longer a station at all. So they also demanded to own the entire Bukesa Hill. Now that hill was near Rubaga Palace, and it is where the ancient Muawa dynasty last paramount ruler, Bemba Musota, sought refuge almost 700 years earlier, after he had been overthrown at his base of Buddo by the conquering Chintu. Now, this hill of Bukesa had been since occupied by a spiritual goddess, Emyoyo Jabaganda, one of them, a goddess known as Namirembe, whose origin is tied to Nambi, the wife of Chintu. Therefore, Mwanga too, because of the situation of the hill having such a valuable possession of 700 years, as in Nambi's relative, or this goddess Sodia, he was uncomfortable giving away Bukesa. But he had to, because he was actually put on the throne by the Christians. So whatever they wanted, they had to get. So Mwanga gave it up, but asked the missioners, or the missionaries, to occupy the lower slopes of Bukesa Hill and avoid the top of the hill. Why? Because the tip of the hill, that is where the goddess Sodia Namirembe resided. Therefore, all the missionaries, both the White Fathers and the Christian Missionary Society, so Anglican and Roman Catholic, were invited to return to Buganda. Now I'm talking of the missionaries. And therefore, the Roman Catholics put their new headquarters at Rubaga. It became the Rubaga Mission. And Alexander Mackay, who remained in Usukuma, but allowed Reverend Herbert Walker to return to Buganda and establish a new mission, not at Natete, which had been burnt down, but at Bukesa, and Bukesa became a mission station for the Church Missionary Society. At the same time, Reverend Father Simeon Laudel, I remember telling you that I'll be referring to him as Mapera, also returned and established a new mission at Rubaga. That happened in October 1889. Now, at around that time, strangers arrived. You see, the country had been in war. So when strangers arrived, everybody was surprised to see the strangers. And they were soldiers. They were soldiers. They were very smart. They were in uniform. They were led by a Muzungu. His name was Karl Peters. He was a German man. And he said that his intention was not to invade Buganda, but he wanted a safe passage because he was on his way to southern Sudan. According to him, he wanted to rescue Emin Pasha. But remember, Emin Pasha had even met these Christians in Kabula with Stanley. They had already escaped, and some of their soldiers even helped the Christians in the war. So Dr. Karl Peters was, of course, told that there was no need because the person he was looking for most likely had already arrived at the coast. There was no need of rescuing him at all. So Karl Peters changed tactics. Instead of now being interested in what brought him, he now became entangled in the civil war in Buganda, which had just ended. The Father Laudel, who had arrived in Buganda, was the translator of German language to Kabaka about what Karl Peters wanted. And Simeon Laudel is recorded by historians as having told lies to Kabaka. As a matter of fact, as Kabaka thought he was signing things to allow these strangers to pass through and then maybe go back home, apparently he was signing a document giving away his own kingdom to the Germans. That's how bad things were becoming. So these people are from Kabula. They have fought a war, but their leaders, or their leader, Reverend Father Simeon Laudel, the things he's doing just because of a cover-up of a language are very interesting. So Mwanga II signed a treaty written in German language, ceding the kingdom away to the German ruler, which only Father Mapera understood and had no regrets over it. Can you imagine? People have fought, and for you, you are just wanting to take things on a silver platter. But that's what happened anyway. October 1889. So he never translated it truthfully, only saying that it acknowledged the free firearms and ammunitions which the Germans were going to leave behind, but unfortunately they were going to leave them under the Roman Catholic faction. The Buganda army from that time had become divided. And of course they accepted what to do. So the firearms and ammunitions were not shared. They all went to the Roman Catholic Christian faction with the blessings of the Kabaka. So Apollo Kagwa and his Anglican faction leaders were definitely not amused by the donation of firearms to the Roman Catholic faction. It meant a lot for the future, that is. Anyway, let us now see how, after settling and agreeing with Mwanga, what they agreed to agree. And this is what happened. Apollo Kagwa, the Anglican leader, the Anglican army faction leader, became the Katikiro. We are talking about 1889. Katikiro becomes Apollo Kagwa. He was around 23, something like that. The palace chief of chiefs, Soba Omsalosalo, became Sebwato Mulisi Kinywachamagwa, the great Roman Catholic faction army commander. He took over as the palace head of heads. Remember, others who had occupied the post before included people like Joseph Marikudembe. So now we are having Sebwato Mulisi Kinywachamagwa, the great commander. Then Sechibobo. Now, when I talk of these county chiefs, now this is the cabinet. At that time, the cabinet, after the king, who is next? The Katikiro. After the Katikiro, who is next? the Pokino, the Sekibobo, the county chiefs, the Cebuanas, the Kimbugwes, the Mukwendas, the Kangaos, the Pokinos. Now that is the Buganda cabinet. Yeah, so don't wonder that, hey, these things of a minister, the colonialists had not yet introduced those things. So now after the Kabaka and the Katikiro and the Omsarosaro, all you are going to have in the cabinet are the chiefs, and the province, the counties were not as many as today. So Chagwe county chief, the Sekibobo, became Nicodemo Sebwato. Remember, he previously was the Pokino, and is the one who had welcomed the exiles in Kabula, being friendly to Omugabe Ntale the Fifth. So now he's given Oba Sekibobo. Then we have the Kago, now the Chadondo County Chief, Paulo Bakunga. He had also been a soldier, but in the Roman Catholic faction. Then in Busiro, the Cebuana, who also had to be the Mugema, was the Anglican Joshua Kate Wambwa, the head of all clans elders representative at that time. He also was a very important cultural leader in Buganda. So Joshua Kate Wambwa of the Enchima clan became the Busiro County Chief Cebuana and also the Mugema. Single County, where Apollo Kagwa had never served even after being appointed during the Civil War, was given to Wanyona Waswa. He was also a soldier, but this time in the Anglican military faction. Bururi County, now this is after Bulemezi, was given to Stanlas Mugwanya. He was a Roman Catholic military faction soldier, a very good combatant soldier, American height. Oh my God. The man just became a great chief and a great cabinet member. And then Bulemezi County, very powerful position in Buganda those times. He was called the Kangao. He was Zakaria Chizito Chisingiri, another Anglican great combatant soldier. The man is rewarded by joining the cabinet as Kangao. And finally, in Ibudu, Gabwe Ochintu became the county chief. But remember, Gabwe Ochintu was neither in the Anglican faction nor in the Roman Catholic. He was supposed to be the combined leader of all the lake diggers. So he didn't have a faction as such. Although when Mwanga wanted to kill people, he betrayed him, and the coup was actually because of him. He betrayed his king. But anyway, all that was history. Mwanga was not going to remember those things. He now takes over as Pokino, Gabriel Chintu, and Ham Mukasa was still nursing his limb injury. Remember, the knee had been shot, but he survived. And therefore, he turned down any cabinet position as a county chief. But still, he had to be recognized as a soldier who fought. So he was made a royal palace and an appointment under the Omsarosaro as the Kioza. Kioza, you can call him the visitors' cheerleader before the Kabaka. So the cheerleader of visitors before the Kabaka became the Kioza was given to Ham Mukasa, but he was still he was still nursing his injured leg. As a matter of fact, he never walked properly ever again. From that time on, he walked as if he was limping. That's why you see in all the pictures, he's holding a stick to help him walk. All the missionaries, both the Anglican and the Roman Catholics, returned to Buganda and were happy to be hosted at their new brand headquarters of Rubaga and Bukesa Mission. Alexander Mackay never returned for reasons nobody will ever know, because his diaries do not give a reason why he decided not to return. He was bitter anyway about what his friend Mapera was trying to do with Carl Peters. Carl Peters, after signing, just went away, but on reaching the coast went boasting how he had secured Buganda, something that scared the British very much that they had to send a Captain Lugard immediately to Buganda, as we shall see in our next sequels. And therefore for today, thanks for enjoying this sequel number 20. May the good Lord bless us all.